Hello, beautiful people. Today we are going to discuss Accounting Standard 3 Cash Flow Statement. So let's get started. The first and foremost thing that is to be understood in case of cash flow statement is non-applicability. Is that for these following companies, cash flow statement AS free cash flow statement is not applicable, which includes one-person company, small company, and dormant company. Here I have described what is one-person company. One-person company means a company which has only one person as its member. Small company. A small company is a private company with a maximum paid up capital of rupees 50 lakh and maximum turnover of rupees 2 crore. A dormant company is an inactive company which is formed for some future profits or only to hold an asset and has no significant transactions. Next, we shall discuss about the presentation of cash flow statement. In case of presentation of cash flow statement, we should consider the three activities, that is operating activities, investing activities, and financing activities. So we shall see about this each activities in detail in the following video. So first we shall discuss about operating activities. So these are those activities that occur in the day-to-day basis, that is the operation of a business. So in short we can say that cash flow from operating activities predominantly result from the main revenue generating activities of an enterprise, like turnover, income, like sale of goods, we'll get particular amount of money. So these are the operating activities. Generally these amount are in bulk when compared to investing and financing activity. For example, cash received from sale of goods or service, cash received in the form of fees, royalties, commission, and various other revenue forms, cash paid to supplier of goods and services. That's it. So, in case of operating activities, we have some methods of calculating the cash flow. So, let's discuss those methods. We have mainly two methods, that is direct method and indirect method. So, what is direct method? Where all the major classes of cash receipts and cash payments are presented. And in case of indirect method, where the net profit or net losses is adjusted for, is that we'll begin from the profit. Here we'll be beginning from the cash receipt and payments. Here we'll be beginning from the net profit and losses, and we'll adjust all the cash receipts and payments. So in case of indirect method, the effect of transactions that are non-cash in nature, such as depreciation, deferred taxes, provision, etc., are adjusted. Accrual or deferral of futures of profit, future or past operating cash proceeds or payments, etc. Any expense or income related to financing and investing cash flows, which is already included in net profit or net loss, is also have to be adjusted. So these two methods are entirely different, but however we'll take into consideration only the operating cash flows. That's the common thing in both direct method as well as indirect method. Next thing is investing activities. So these are those activities which are like getting cash or making cash payment based on investments is related to these activities. So cash flow from investing activities represent outflows are made for resources intended for generating cash flow and future income. Like generally, it is based on like usage of a resource for generating or payment of cash. For instance, we can take these as example: cash paid for acquiring fixed assets, cash received from disposal of fixed assets, that is payment, this is receipt. Cash paid for acquiring shares, warrants, or debt instrument or other companies and interest in JVs, that is joint ventures. Financing activities. Financing activities are those activities which brings major change in the capital account, and the borrowings of an enterprise or company. So, financing activities are those which bring change in composition of size of owner's capital and borrowings of an enterprise because of the following changes. Like, for instance, we can take cash received from issuing shares or other similar securities causes changes in the share capital, thus the capital account is affected. Cash received from issuing loans, debentures, bonds, notes, and other short-term or long-term borrowings. Borrowing account is affected because of these loans, debentures, bonds, etc. Cash repaid on borrowings. In case of repayment also, we will be affecting this. It will be affecting this borrowings account. So these are about operating, financing, and investing activities. We have come to the conclusion, that is disclosure requirement. In case of AS3 cash flow statement, we have to consider the following requirements. Even if it is mentioned as 1 and 2, this has many default and important things that are to be disclosed. First is the enterprise must disclose the amount of substantial cash and cash equivalents held by an enterprise which isn't available for use. Is that any other cash or cash equivalents are held, and we have to disclose the same. And the second one is commitments that may arise from discounted bills of exchange and other similar obligations that are undertaken by an enterprise. Is that, as we all know, we have to take user as a hero in case of disclosure requirement. We have to provide for all the disclosure. We have to provide disclosure for all the things that might affect the decision of the user. So in this case also, similar obligation, any other obligations that are undertaken by an enterprise are typically disclosed in the financial statement by means of notes, even in case the probability of the loss is remote, even though the loss is very remote or very much less, we have to provide disclosure if it may affect the decision of the user. So that's regarding AS3 cash flow statement. Hope you all understand. Thanks for watching. May God bless you all.